Good morning, everybody. It's Karen here, and what I want to show you today is how to make this little treat box for Valentine's Day. And if you can see it, it has a shaker window heart cut out of the top of it. So I'm going to step you through how to make this, and I will also be sharing all of the dimensions on my blog and along with this YouTube post. But I just wanted to walk you through how to make it. So let's talk materials first. So what you're going to need is one piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm using our Candy Apple cardstock. You're going to need a piece of 6 by 6 pattern paper. This paper comes from our Perfect Match paper collection that is a special right now through the end of February. If you want to do a border on the top of the lid, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock punched however you want for a border. I did mine one piece at 1/2 inch tall by 12 inches wide, and another piece that is about 8 inches long by, again, 1/2 inch tall. You're going to need 2 pieces of 4 by 4 acetate film. You can also use, I'm not using the Close to My Heart shaker window pieces. Didn't have them in stock right now, but that would be a perfect thing. And we do have a heart punch as well as the heart-shaped shaker window adhesives and stuff, but I don't have them right now, so I'm winging it right with this. I have also a little bit of a tag here. You're going to definitely need some strong adhesive tape. I've got some little heart shapes. This also comes from the Perfect Match collection. And you're going to need your anti-static pouch, as well as some thin foam tape, which is what I have here. I have quite the roll of foam tape, and a die or whatever that you're going to use to punch out the center of your lid. You're going to definitely need your 12-inch trimmer. You're going to cutting blade as well as your scoring blade. So don't worry if you aren't keeping up with this. I will post all of the directions on this. So let's start off. What we're going to do is we are going to cut the cardstock for the base. This is going to be a box that is going to have that's going to be 4 inches at the base dimension, so 4 by 4 by 4, and the height of it is going to be 2 inches for the base, and the top is going to be basically about 1 inch deep. So you have an overhang, and you can see it a little bit better on the finished piece. So I have it so that it has an overhang here, and then I put the scalloped border on it. So I'm going to cut my cardstock to 8 by 8. So there's my base piece, but I'm also going to take this because I like to shore up, give a little bit more stability to the boxes I make. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces of the red cardstock, and you'll see why as I go along, to 4 by 4. So that's my cut pieces right now. So I'm going to take out my trimmer blade. I'm going to put in my scoring blade. So your base piece. So you're going to make sure that, as you're scoring it, you're going to score it on the back side so that you can, your fold lines will be up. So we're going to score this at 2 inches all around. So the box comes together pretty quickly. But, so 2 inches and 2 inches. So there's the scoring for my base. I'm going to score also for my cover. This I'm scoring slightly under 1 inch, so about, I'd say 15/16. You can score at 1 inch, just makes the top a little tighter. But I'm doing mine at about 15/16 all around. Get that there. It just gives a little bit of give for makes the lid come off easier. Otherwise, it's a very tight lid. Okay, I'll put my trimmer aside because I'm all set with that. So, what I'm going to do is take my scissors and I'm going to cut in along my score line to make my tabs. So I've got one side and I'll just take it to the other side. Okay, I'll just fold along those score lines. You can use a bone folder or your thumbnail or your edge of your scissors if you want, whatever works best for you. In this, fold along your score lines. Fold. And then what I'm going to do before I go to assemble the box, I'm going to take one of my pieces of my 4x4 pieces, and I'm just going to adhere it with some strong tape. It just gives a little bit more stability to the box bottom. That's just my own personal preference. This is a step that you don't necessarily need to follow. So I'm going to take this. And then I'm just going to put this in. And I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to just put my, this is score tape, which is one I use quite a bit, along my tabs. I put it on the inside edge as well as on the right near the fold on all sides. So then I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to just move the adhesive cover, and I'm just going to start assembling my box base. Comes together very quickly, you know. I fiddled around with the sizing on this as I was working just to figure out really what I wanted it to be, but I knew I was going to fill it with some shred, some candy. I'm going to bring this into my coworkers, and they're a lucky bunch because I do this for them most of the major holidays. And it's fun making these. I do enjoy these, and I'll probably, you know, make some version of it for family members. Valentine's Day, of course, is going to be next Sunday, so I hope everybody's getting ready for that. I'm making cards this weekend. So there's my base. Pretty simple. Set that aside. Now I'm going to work on my lid. Now, my second piece of 4x4 is going to be used to cover the back side of the shaker element. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that when I punch out my heart for this top side, that it's reflected on the back side. So I'm going to put it through my good old die machine here. I've had this thing for ages, still going strong. I'm going to make sure I measure this out. This will fit, the 6x6 fits perfectly in the machine. I'm going to line up my heart die in the center, just like that. And then I'm just going to run this through. You can probably cut it out on your Cricut. You could do circles if you don't happen to have a heart-shaped die. I just fell in love with the idea of doing kind of a heart-shaped window. So now, as you can see, when I go to assemble this, this is going to line up perfectly on the back side. So let's move the die machine out of the way. And then to start the assembly, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the base. So I'm going to cut up my tabs, and I am going to fold along my score lines to get it going. sure I fold all these tabs nice and set. And then to start with, I'm going to take my first piece of 4x4 acetate film. And what I'm going to do, this is going to get adhered to the top. So I'm going to put the score tape here. You definitely want to make sure you have a good strong tape on this. I just usually add a couple more pieces to this just to keep this set. So I just put my score tape all around. I always end up with lots of little score tape covers kind of floating all over the place, and they do sometimes get a little staticky and stick to me, which is just always fun. So this, okay. So now I'm going to put my 4x4 acetate on the inside, and then I usually rub it down, burnish it with like a bone folder or just my thumb or the edge, you know, the handle part. I've seen people do this, you know, just the handle part of your scissors. So that's the start of your window. Now, this is kind of the trickiest part for me, at least for me, and this is probably easier if you are going to be one who's going to use the shaker window. We have the heart-shaped shaker window, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline my heart with this thin foam tape. So I'm just going around the edge of it. And that's it. So there you can see. So I just put my foam tape, and one of the things you're going to want to do before you take the adhesive off that, I'm going to run my anti-static pouch over the inside of this, and then I'm going to take, I've got some of my, I don't need a ton, but my hearts, my mini hearts from the Perfect Match. And then I'm going to peel this up. And then my second piece of foam tape will go right over that. And I'm going to just make sure it's fully adhered all around the sides. And there's my shaker window. Pretty simple. Like I said, if you have the heart-shaped shaker window from close to my heart, this is a perfect place for it, and especially with the already done adhesives hearts, so you don't have to kind of follow my directions. No problem. Now, if somebody opens the box, this is what they're going to see, and this is kind of why I told you I was doing a second 4x4 piece of cardstock and that I cut it out to be the shape of the window. Ha ha, there we go. That's why. I know I'm a little weird today, but hey, it's a beautiful day out. It's a Saturday. It's close to Valentine's Day. And again, I'm going to take some extra little pieces to make sure that I'm nice and adhered. We're almost getting done. Thank you guys if you're continuing to watch. Thank you so much for staying with me on this. I know it's a little bit of a long one, but hey, it's fun. I hope you guys like this. It comes together pretty easy. Once I figured out the first one, you know, it definitely comes together quickly. So now I'm going to take my heart, the second heart that I cut out. I'm going to place this here. And see, it just adds it, kind of finishes off the inside with a nice look to it. Flip this over, and now I'm going to finish the lid. And we will be almost done. The last piece is going to be adhering my scalloped border. along it. Takes a little bit of finagling, but it's a fun, just additional element. And of course, I'm not going to adhere it before I have the lid made because it won't really work unless you decide you want to just do 4 by 4 pieces and have the edges just kind of butt up against each other. And that is an option. But I liked mine kind of wrapping around the outside of this. So let's get this. One last side. I definitely love this adhesive tape. It's perfect for a lot of the paper crafting I do. So there's my lid. Now to adhere the scallop border, what I do is I'm going to put my score tape, oops, sorry guys, I'm off camera, along the very edge of my lid. And you can do this in any way you want. I liked having the scalloped kind of hanging down. You could do it where you had your image in the other direction, but this is how I kind of wanted to do mine. And I'm all around, so I'm going to just stop that. So, score tape is all around. I'm just going to take the cover off of that. And then this is just going to be really kind of, oops, my fingernails are not working today. Come on, just trying to get the edge. It always happens when you're trying to get the edge of something, it doesn't want to come. There we go. All right, I start with my 12 by 12 piece. This is kind of one of my habits. I start in an area that's not going to be really seen on a regular basis on it. So I'm going to start here at the very edge. So the top edge of the scallop piece aligns with the top edge of the adhesive strip. And I'm going to work my way around. Because of course, you know, this being 4 by 4 by 4, you need something that's roughly 16 inches long, which of course we don't have paper that's 16 inches long. So this is where you're going to work a little bit magic. So I've got this little bit of a piece left. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take, because I want to make sure that this gets adhered down, I'm going to take 2 little pieces of the score tape, place it on the edge of the scallop piece I just adhered at the front. Oops, that happens often. The score tape decides to stay on my finger. And now I am going to take, and I try to line this up so that the scallops overhang. And then I take this around. One last spot. And then I'm going to just trim off my excess. And there's my lid. Clear out my mess. There's my base. Fill it however you want. I put some shred in mine, and then I'm going to fill it with candy. And then my lid fits nice and snug. It's not too snug. You know, if you do a little bit more of it, you know, that's why I scored mine at roughly 15/16, because it makes it snug, but not too, but not too snug that it's really a tough time to push the lid down. And then I just took some ribbon, wrapped it around mine after I filled it, and I added a little tag. This tag, I used some of the images from the months of the year February stamp set that's available through the end of this month in our current January-February catalog from Close to My Heart. You could probably put anything you want for a tag. This one is really adorable because you've got Sweetheart, Valentine's Day, you've got, Will You Be Mine? So you could do any kind of tagged image. I love you, you've got the hearts. So it's a lot of fun to play with, but it comes together nicely, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Bye now.